Okay, I wanted to take time to sort of analyze the distributive property that we all seem to be really good at, but in teaching for a while now, I've realized that students don't really understand what's going on with the distributive property many times, and part of the problem is we don't analyze these things as deeply as we should because we're crunched for time or we need to move on to more important things, and it's unfortunate. But here we go. The distributive property is specifically when you have multiplication and addition or subtraction mixed. So for example, 2 times the quantity x plus 3. We all know that we distribute the 2 to the x and the 3, and what's going on here is we're distributing over the plus. So each of these things will be multiplied, right? The 2 and the x will be multiplied, the 2 and the 3 will be multiplied, and the plus will remain the same in between. Okay, so we distribute over pluses or minuses. So we all know that this is going to equal 2 times x plus 2 times 3. Okay, so this is the same thing as 2x plus 6. Now, I see students get confused all the time because then let's say I modify this and make it 2 times the quantity x times 3. Well, all this is not addition or subtraction here, so we do not distribute. We're not mixing multiplication with addition or subtraction. This is in fact all multiplication. So the order of operations here we can apply in any order since it's all one operation, multiplication. So this is literally the same thing as 2 times x times 3. And notice there's no parentheses here, so we could go left to right, meaning multiply the 2 times the x first to get 2x times 3, and then 2x times 3 is 6x. Okay? But in fact, since this is all multiplication here, we could multiply in any order that we want. We could reorder this however we'd like. So from here, instead of doing what we did down here, I could multiply the 2 by the 3, so I could rearrange this as 2 times 3 times x. And we could also see that that would be 6x in this order. So the big difference here is this does not mix multiplication with addition or subtraction. This one does. Now let's go back and analyze this first one sort of with an illustration here. And distribution, the distributive property, has nothing to do with calculating an area, but we can sort of understand why it works if we look at area. So let's take a rectangle. Actually, what we're going to do is cut this apart into 2 rectangles. And let's say the width of both of these rectangles is 2 units. And the length, or the height, of this rectangle is x, and the length or the height of this rectangle is 3. So we've got 3 different rectangles here. We have this one here. The area of this rectangle would be 2 times x, length times width, that's 2x. The area of this rectangle would be its length times its width, which would be 2 times 3, which is 6. And I apologize, my 2 here looks much bigger than my 3, so realize this is not to any kind of scale at all. So the area of the big rectangle, the whole thing, let's call it the total area, would be 2x plus 6. Okay? Those two areas added together. So another way to look at this might be, if you were just to look at the big rectangle, I'll sort of redraw it over here, ignore the 2 smaller rectangles. Well, this is still 2. My question is, how long is this side now? Well, this side here, this length, is the same as this length plus this length. So the length of this side is x plus 3. So the total area of this rectangle would be 2 times the width here times the height, or the length, times the quantity x plus 3. So in this case, you can see that these two things are the same. You can see the 2 had to be multiplied by the x and by the 3 separately, and there was a plus in between. And that's what's going on when you look at the distributive property.